Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon and welcome to the 2024 State of the City Address featuring Mayor Bob Burns and City Administrator Sharon Hansen. For those that do not know me, my name is Brad Garrett, President for your Marshall Chamber of Commerce. I'd like to acknowledge our sponsors for today's program. First off, our corporate sponsors, Avera Marshall, Schwann's Company, Yellow, Brember Bank, ADM, City of Marshall, Relco, US Bank, Action Companies, Southwest Minnesota State University, and the Marshall Downtown Business Association. Also, thank you to our presenting sponsors, Henley Printing, North Risk Partners, Boxcar Wind, Hoffman and Brobst, and CCM Health. Thank you for your support for this event. Please give them a round of applause. I want to recognize our non-city elected officials in the room. A short wave will do when you hear your name. Sheriff Eric Wallen, County Commissioner Rick Anderson, County Commissioner Todd Draper, County Commissioner Gary Crowley, and County Commissioner Tom Andrews. Please, and I also want to recognize SMSU President Dr. Kumara Jayasuriya and Superintendent of Marshall Public Schools Jeremy Williams. Thank you for attending. Before we proceed any further, I'll ask you to please rise if you're able for the singing of the national anthem by Marshall Fire Chief Quentin Brunsville.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land and of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, once again, thanks for attending the 2024 State of the City. This is the 6th year we have partnered with the City of Marshall on this event. You might think of this event 4 years ago, about the same time, what do you think of? Obviously, COVID was just starting to brew. But prior to that, on March 4th, this event is when the new Marshall brand was rolled out, and that was one of the last major events before everything came to a screeching halt. We've come a long ways. In 2021, we held this event a month later in April, so we have not had any disruption holding the State of the City. The Chamber and the City of Marshall have one thing in common, many things in common, one of them, and that is that we are in it together to help promote the city, and what a great opportunity to do that with the State of the City address. The State of the City is an opportunity for the city to be transparent with our business community about everything that has happened the previous year and what to expect in 2024. Think about today's event as an annual meeting that many nonprofits need to report on. I am excited for 2024, and I think you should be as well. That's enough from me. It's time to introduce our presenters. I'd like to introduce Mayor Bob Burns and City Administrator Sharon Hansen. After their presentation, there should be a little bit of time for questions from the audience today. Mayor Burns. Mayor is serving his 10th term as mayor, and prior to that, he was with the council for 6 years. Bob retired following a 40-year career with the University of Minnesota, where he served as a statewide director of operations for the University of Minnesota Extension. Bob is involved with several community organizations. He sits on the board of directors for the Southwest Regional Development Commission, past chair of the board of directors of Prairie Land Economic Development, chair of MnDOT Area Transportation Partnership, vice chair of Highway 23 Coalition Board, board member of Habitat for Humanity of Redwood River, and board member of Marl. Sharon has been the City of Marshall City Administrator since 2017. She is responsible for the overall management and operation of the city, overseeing the budget, personnel, and its departments. The City Administrator also serves as a liaison between division directors, the City Council, and the public. Please help me welcome Mayor Bob Burns and City Marshal City Administrator Sharon Hansen.
Thank you, Brad. Is this coming through okay? Yeah. Okay. Sharon has a lot that she's going to cover here today, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I think you have the clicker, right?
I do.
So let's go ahead and get started. First off, thank you to the Chamber. Thank you, all of you, for being here. We're going to have time for questions at the end, but you can interrupt us, as we go through if you want to. So go ahead. First, like to recognize the City Council. We have at least 2 or 3 City Council members that are here. Seymour Molesky, Amanda Schroeder, John Elkhorn was in the room. I don't know if he still is. We have a great City Council, good to work with. They're dedicated. Let's start by giving them a show of appreciation.
And then I would also like to introduce our leadership team, and first just our division directors, Public Safety Director Jim Marshall, our Public Works Director Jason Anderson, and our Director of Administrative Services EJ Molberg, and we have other supervisors and leadership team members here. If they could stand and just be recognized a little bit too, would be great. So.
And just a word about this team, when you see their pictures there, this is the team that keeps our community safe with public safety, financially sound with our finance department, and we are financially sound. We have a very high finance rating, and our infrastructure is up to speed, and that's really because of the team that you see there, led by Sharon Hansen, that leads really a great group of city employees.
Okay. I also want to just say that this past year we've had a year of recognition for both council and our leadership team as well, and I want to cover a little bit of that. First of all, and I'm going to go back a little bit into 2022, the Chamber has their annual awards, and as we all know, the Chamber is a network of business professionals, and it's nice when the business community is recognizing the work of government, and they certainly did that in late 2022. Lauren Deitz was awarded the Rookie of the Year, and I didn't mention this last year, so I wanted to include it this year, but she had a stellar 2023, and you'll see that with some of the slides we're going to present. Excellent work by Lauren. And then Preston Stensrud in 23 was awarded the All-Star Award. We know that he's the face of our Parks Department, but a great community connector and very well-deserved. And as well, Eric Luther, our liquor store manager, who does a great job at the liquor store, but he was really recognized for all of his community work. SMSU Booster Club, Rotary, just to name a couple of his nonprofit work. And so he was awarded the Volunteer of the Year Award by the Chamber. So really good work by our staff, and it's great that it's been noticed by our business community. And then also last year, Bob doesn't want me to say too much about this because he's a little embarrassed, or maybe he doesn't want to highlight himself, but he did receive the C.C. Ludwig Award from the League of Minnesota Cities. And this is really the Mayor of the Year award in 23 out of 875 mayors. So it's well-deserved. He's a great leader for our city, and also personally a really good mentor for me, so I appreciate that. He also was awarded the SMSU Honorary Lifetime Alumni Award for all of his work supporting SMSU and being a big promoter of this institution.
Thank you, Sharon, but one of the reasons, I've been around a long time. That's why you get it.
Yeah. The other recognition that we recently found out was 3rd and Lion Street was awarded the 23 Concrete Paving Project Award from the Concrete Paving Association of Minnesota. So we know that, at least our staff does, that 3rd and Lion was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears going through that project. It was a change. It was a change on 3rd Street, and lots of discussion. Chamber helped us facilitate some of those discussions. So this award really validates the work that we did, and we're happy that we're being recognized. I know Bob wants to talk a little bit more about Third and Lion as well.
Well, and I would just add, this is not just a concrete award, although, Hess Construction, R&G did a great job, but this is really lots of community input, lots of downtown business input, the adjoining property owners to really recognize what can we do so that this will be for the next 50 years, because it will last 50 years, be an amenity for downtown that will be a plaza-type shopping experience, but still allow traffic there. I think they did a great job.
Yeah, and it was great that it was a local contractor, R&G Construction, who was able to contribute to the city and the local economy.
Great. Okay, so now we're going to move on to some of the things that are going on in the community, both last year and then we're going to end up with this coming year. And the caveat that we have going in is that we're not going to cover everything. We're going to hit some highlights. Time doesn't allow us to cover everything. Sharon and I, especially Sharon, had the challenge this year of really trying to condense this presentation into the time that was allowed. And as you'll see, and as you know, there was really a lot that went on this past year and is currently going on. So we're going to hit highlights, and then we're going to move kind of fast as we go.
Right.
Okay? One of the big things is Solugen. Now, Solugen made their announcement in November that they were going to build in Marshall. And it kind of went a little bit unnoticed because it's a little bit hard to explain and hard to kind of get it, at least for me, get my head around exactly what is this. But we do know 42 jobs, permanent jobs. It'll be over 100 construction jobs. It's a $90 million investment. They will purchase a large quantity of dextrose, that is a product produced by ADM, and then they will go through a process where they'll go through a molecular manipulation to transform the dextrose molecule into a plant-based molecule that will replicate a lot of things that are currently derived from a petroleum-based molecule. Eric, did I butcher that or not? Okay, so it has been almost 50 years since I took college chemistry. So we actually asked Solugen, give us a little better explanation of what exactly is this process.
The Bioforge, it's not a typical chemical plant. It's a completely new way of making the materials that we interact with every day. What's really exciting is that we actually use plant-derived substances to turn it into every single material that we interact with. These materials have historically been made from fossil fuel. By combining computationally engineered enzymes and heterogeneous catalysis, our technology overcomes a lot of the limitations that you see facing chemicals industry today. We're bringing high-performing, cost-competitive solutions that are made from biology. Along the way, we're ensuring that there's a sustainable future for all of us, not just through our products, but through the process by which we make those products.
Okay, so other than the ADM table, did anyone understand what you just said? Because he used some words that are not in the dictionary. So we went back to the two founders and we said, okay, tell us what exactly you're going to be doing here, and more importantly, why are you doing it in Marshall?
Hello, City of Marshall. I'm Sean.
I'm Gaurav.
And we're the co-founders of Solugen, and we could not be more excited to come to this great city of Marshall.
We are going to build the world's largest low-carbon chemicals manufacturing plant in Marshall, Minnesota. It's going to be 500,000 square feet of pure bio-industrial bliss.
We've already broken ground, and we're slated to be in commissioning in the first half of next year. And we chose Marshall for all the incredible reasons. First and foremost, the people. Second, the corn. Third, because of ADM. Fourth, because of access to a reliable electrical grid. Fifth, because you guys are building that 50 megawatt solar array.
So we're very excited to get there. We're very excited to build. We want to meet each and every one of you and bring you to the Bioforge and show you what we're capable of doing.
Yeah, we couldn't be more excited.
Thank you for this opportunity.
So, we're excited about that. Lauren Dietz, the ADM team, the MMU team, our Public Works team, all deserve a round of applause for them. Anything more you want to say on that?
No, we're just really excited. I know that we didn't get a lot of public feedback, I think because of the complexity of it, but it's going to be a really nice development for Marshall. So,
Okay, the other development that everyone knows about, probably everyone has been there, is the Quick Trip development. So on the 21st of February, they did have their ribbon cutting. Their CEO was there. Many of you were in the room. The CEO of Quick Trip, I heard 3 talking points. One was his workforce. Their workforce is really important. I think that's important to all of our businesses, but they have 62 employees. Second off, one of the second talking point I heard was the city was really good to work with in this building project. Let me repeat that. The city was good to work with. So, and then the third thing is there's more to come. The second Quick Trip will start construction in June, be a 120-day build, and then he said there's going to be a third one too. So that was exciting. And that also facilitated or caused or was this yours?
no, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'll just fill it.
We did talk right before this about who was going to do what slide. The Marcus Construction project, this is where the former Sanix gas station is. The Leading Edge Credit Union, Domino's, and Shopko Optical are located there. Really a nice reuse of that facility. It also kind of shows, and we're going to also talk a little bit about some of the changes that have been going on College Drive for a long time. This building, some of us have been around for a while, remember in the early 1980s when it was constructed, that was constructed for the Montgomery Ward Catalog Store and Tire Center. So it's gone through a number of different uses since then. Of course, Montgomery Wards isn't around anymore, but the building's there, the location's there, and still a vibrant part of College Drive.
I wanted to also talk about some additional development on East College Drive, and I think what Lockwood Motors and Chet Lockwood did was really fantastic last year. I know that he frequently has said development leads to development, and that's certainly true on East College Drive. And first and foremost, he acquired the former CNN building on East College Drive. He eventually demoed it, of course, for expansion of his car parking lot. But prior to demolition, reaching out to the community and having a graffiti art contest, he donated $10,000 to local nonprofits. It was just a really nice community spirit thing that he did on behalf of the community. And then, of course, he also partnered with Habitat for Humanity and worked on the sale of that particular building. Habitat for Humanity Restore Store opened in April, and just a really nice example of development, but also someone who was a true community partner in making things happen. The demolition of CNN sales then also meant relocation of CNN Game Room Outlet, which is at a new location. This is the former Border States Electric site, which was Weno. And last year we talked about the warehouse that they built out near Industrial Park, but a really nice example of renewal of an older building in a great new space. And then back to East College Drive. Late 2018, there was demolition of the property you see on the far left. And it was a vacant lot since that time, and the ability to add tax capacity and growth again on East College Drive with the Family Dollar Tree development. Another shopping, grocery option for those that live in this particular part of the city as well.
And of course, and I know that we've talked about this in the past, but certainly the landmark Mercantile building, now that it's fully occupied, is really a cornerstone of our downtown. Not only the Atlantic Place, but also the build out of the rest of it. Probably most significantly, the Relco corporate office, which is located on the second floor, and bringing those 50 plus employees to downtown and having a really quality workplace where people want to come to work. And of course, on the upper level is the upper room. The lower level of the Mercantile building is several businesses: Wings Axe Company, the Echelon Financial, and
Bedrock Clean Energy, US Bank as well. And I really like this development for a number of reasons, but I think it harkens back to John Knockness and his vision for this particular property and the dedication of Brian to really lead his team through occupying this space. And I know they spent a lot of time on this last year, seeking tenants and actually making things happen. So.
And just one last thing about the Relco offices building. Before I retired, I had worked with a lot of different office locations in every county in the state, and know the challenge of having an office that's inviting, and some really good thought went into this, where it's probably as nice of a workspace as there is. So.
The Wings Axe Company as well, and we know that Jet Wing, the proprietor of this particular entertainment restaurant area, was just graduated from high school in 2023. He also participated in the school's CEO program. I hope his class voted him most likely to succeed, because it seems like he's pretty successful. So a really nice downtown venue for us. Staying a little bit on development that occurred late 23, but really going to happen this coming year, is we've been working with the Southwest West Service Cooperative on their office space. Currently, they're located in the mall. We're soon going to ensure that the land purchase goes through in the next couple council meetings. But this is going to be a great facility. It's going to be located north of US Bank, so a great location next to another great office building out in that area. They cover 18 counties, and they do similar to what their name says. They do cooperative services for school districts, whether it be IT, special ed, health insurance, health and safety, and those types of services. 16,000 square feet will be the building. They'll have 50 plus employees coming into Marshall from the end of the region on a daily basis. And then there'll also be training rooms in this office space. They'll be bringing in 75 plus members of school districts and the general public. So we're looking forward to that.
So there, and of course there is a lot of additional development. We have some pictures here, but as I mentioned when we started, we can't cover everything. According to the Chamber of Commerce list that Brad provided us, there was 40 new businesses that started in Marshall or the Marshall area in the past year. Some of those are larger businesses like Harbor Freight. Some of those are smaller businesses like a one-person business, but lots of entrepreneurship. So you see some of the those businesses that are pictured here.
Yeah, and some of them were empty lots before, like the full dentistry that's soon going to be opening up near the Walmart Shopko area, and then also some redevelopment of space that needed some renewal, like the property near Wood and Nickel in terms of apartments and also short-term rentals. So yeah, lots to cover that we seen happen in 2023. Also want to talk a little bit about diverse development. We saw a number of businesses start in 2023. The city of Marshall is 22% non-white, and we're starting to see business really reflect our population, and want to highlight a few of those developments that occurred this past year. First, most of you probably are aware the former Thrifty White store on Main Street is now occupied by a Hispanic grocery store. The great thing about this location is you see families walking to and from the grocery store. They're open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. on a daily basis, and they cover a lot of items, and they're excited to be downtown. Another business that started on Main Street of Marshall as well is Bella Nail Salon, and I like the fact that when they were interviewed by the newspaper about their location, they said downtown was a perfect location for them. So beautiful space inside and out, and happy we can see that development. In addition, we had a couple other diverse business developments. The Marshall Cleaning Services was a new purchase by a Hmong family from the St. Paul area. And it's nice to have those types of services staying in the city of Marshall. And then we're aware of the Asian grocery store likely out near Ace Hardware, but just this last year they also opened their deli as part of that store. So they also serve on a daily basis. You can't do dining in that particular space, but you could take it and go, and it's really good food actually. And then to the far right is the Corinne grocery store. Again, a store that's doing very, very well based on the population we have. And I know, Bob, that you took a tour around Marshall and did a count of our different ethnic businesses.
Right. So I think it's interesting, and I think it's a good thing. We have 8 ethnic grocery stores in the city of Marshall, starting on College Drive through Main Street and all the way to North Highway 59. So there's 8, and covers a lot of different ethnicities. So that shows health in the community, I think. So we'll move on then to some upcoming things that are happening this year. We've touched on a couple of those.
Yep. And we, the city, have been a part of some of the development that occurred last year and going into this year as well.
So one of the things that we're going to talk about is the CTI initiative, career technical instruction. This is really about workforce. This is about training, providing a training opportunity for our young people to be employed in a meaningful career, hopefully in our community.
Yeah, lots of great community support. You see the donor wall there. And nearly most of their classes are full as well. So just a credit to the Marshall School District and the community for making this happen. We put together a short video with Amanda Peterson, the assistant principal who oversees this. And it's a great video, and it does a great job explaining it. So let's show that right now.
Hello, I'm Amanda Peterson. I'm the assistant principal at the Marshall Career and Technical Institute, or MCTI. This is our new CTE, or Career and Technical Education Center. We opened it this fall on November 6th with students. We're really excited about the opportunity to expand our CTE classes and opportunities for our students. For our medical institute, we offer CNA, where we partner with Minnesota West, and students can earn their certification for nursing assistants. We also offer advanced welding, where students can get 4 certifications in the basic welds. And the third program that we have right now is our automotive program, where students are working with Snap-on to learn more about cars and electronics in cars. Here at the CTI, you'll see that we offer the advanced classes with some certifications. This is newer to our CTI center. We will also hope to have some expansions in some other areas as we get comfortable and have more conversations around what's next for CTE. Our theme for the Marshall Career and Technical Institute is to grow our future together. With that, our hope is that as students take the classes here, we will provide workers for our workforce in the future.
So this is really a credit to the Marshall Public Schools as well as their business partners. Business partners not only in automotive and welding and in refrigeration, as well as others. Okay, so back to developing projects. You heard in the video from the founders of Solugen that they made reference to the MRES solar project. MRES is Missouri River Energy Services. They have 55 acres. A little hard to see on this picture because it's just all the poles that are sticking up. The solar panels aren't on there yet. But as you drive on North 7th Street, as you drive on County Road 33, you see this development. It's 55 acres that will be under solar panel. That's 10 megawatts, which is a big number in the electrical generation. And then there will be 5 megawatts of battery storage that will be there. So be able to store for 4 hours of storage. That is adjacent, just across, I don't think we have a pointer, but just I'll say to the left is a portion of the site where Solugen is currently has started some earthwork.
And then just a little bit more on community development as well as we've had a number of park projects last year and continuing into this year. You'll see in the upper picture there, it's a picture of an inclusive playground, and we want to have pieces of inclusive playgrounds in each of our parks, and inclusive meaning that no matter what physical or mental ability you have, you'll be able to use these particular pieces of equipment. We've had great community support on this. Last year we did Legion Field. This is a picture of Independence Park, and in this summer we're going to be placing some equipment at Justice Park. Lower left, not a great photo because it got installed late last year, waiting for some green grass to grow, but we installed 18 disc golf baskets, and we're going to have an 18 disc golf course finished up this year. It was really at the urging of community members who brought this forward. Again, lots of donations to make that happen, so we're appreciative of that. And then a smaller project, but maybe a bigger impact as we go along is, and a credit to Preston Stenzer to pull together donations as well as local contractors. An outdoor basketball court was put in place just near SMSU campus, something that they've been asking for a long time. And if the weather cooperates, we'll use it for a dual purpose with an outdoor hockey rink in the winter. So looking forward to that. In addition, we officially completed Terrace 1872. It was started construction really in 21, so took our time with it, but it turned out beautifully. We like the fact that our Convention Visitors Bureau spent time and dedication towards Tunes on the Terrace, which was a fun event, well attended. And we're also going to add this to our park rental system this year. So if someone wanted to have a private rental on the terrace, we're going to make that happen for our community.
And we're especially grateful that it's not a blighted property that's there anymore. Yeah. So, a word about SMSU, and certainly Kamara has been introduced already. There are a lot of good things going on here. Kamara, help me if I misstate any numbers here, but their enrollment of real students up 8.3%.
Wow.
Close. So that and they're currently hiring, I believe, 46 faculty and staff. That's a rate of growth of students, and that's a hiring that is not occurring at other institutions within their system. So, credit to Kamara and his team and the offerings and the recruitment that they're doing, that SMSU is growing, their workforce is increasing, and all of that is good for our partnership between SMSU, higher education, and the City of Marshall.
They're the fastest growing university in the MnSCU system right now, so credit to the staff and the president for making that growth happen. One other thing that happened last year as well, it's a credit to the region, being a regional Business Center is the investment by North Star Mutual Insurance to invest in the business school. We know that their employee needs can be met in part by SMSU, and so a really strong, smart, strategic partnership between SMSU and North Star Mutual.
Okay, so we'll move on then in 2024 projects and initiatives.
A little fast there.
Where are we at?
I moved a little fast, I'm sorry. So,
Okay.
you ready for this? Okay, all right. We can't have a presentation without the Aquatic Center. I think my staff knows that. We bring it up probably every meeting we're at, but it's a big project. It's a generational project. It'll be for sure, hopefully a 50-year project. But first and foremost, thank you to the community for voting and supporting the Aquatic Center. The referendum in November of last year was voted in favor nearly 2-1. So that's a pretty resounding support for this facility. And we consider this to be the melting pot of our community, meaning that on any given summer day, we have all different backgrounds, lots of kids that come through. We're going to double, likely, if not more, the number of entrances into this facility. So you're going to see attendance go way up. Our state of Minnesota is a seasonal state. We do a lot of things on a season-by-season basis. So for 3 months, it's going to be heavily used, and it's going to be a great attraction in the region. We're going to bid it out in August if the council agrees with our design, and hopefully we'll see some construction start in October. Did I miss anything?
You covered
All right.
it. And we also have development going on at the airport. Our Air Park East, this is accessible off of Channel Parkway, across the bridge over the diversion channel, and you're at Air Park East. So there's a private hangar that is pictured on your right as you're looking there. And that one is in the process of being constructed. And then the graphic on the left, that will be the city snow removal and equipment facility that has been bid out, and local contractor has the bid and construction. Earthwork should start this spring, and then followed by the construction to be completed in about a year. Currently, a lot of our snow removal equipment, and there's specialized equipment for the airport. Currently, a lot of that equipment is stored in hangars that makes those hangars unavailable then for private usage, private rental. So this will be a better facility and free up some other space at the airport. The other part of our airport, which is fully developed, so there isn't space there. That's the reason why Air Park East needed to be developed.
And
we went through years when we had a bridge there, and then I used to get so irritated when people referred to that bridge that is, it's not really going anywhere, but now it is. So.
whether it be the bridge or the building, also to note, we get a lot of federal revenue to help construct these facilities and the bridge, and so it's not all a local burden. We're having support from federal government, and it makes sense to do this investment.
And that federal support really comes from a tax on aviation fuel. Okay, and so it wouldn't be a state of the city if I didn't vent a little bit about our senses. I've talked about this for the last 4 years. But you can see this is our entrance sign. You just took this picture like 2 weeks ago. Even MnDOT knows that the number isn't right. You see the signs wearing out and it's deteriorating. So and as you all know from, if you've been here in the past, that when the census occurred, it occurred shortly after the pandemic caused the closing down of the university, including university housing, so none of those residents were counted. We appealed that, went through a long process. We were the only city in the state of Minnesota that actually went through the appeal process, because it is onerous to go through that, but we stuck with it. The Census Bureau in January of January 23rd of 2023, notified us that they accepted our appeal. And of course, they said, because of data privacy, we're not going to tell you the number, but we accepted your appeal. So we've been working through the process of just tell us the number. Sharon uses a different adjective when she says, tell us the number. But so we worked with Senator Klobuchar's office, Congresswoman Fishbach's office, Senator Smith's office to appeal. And about 10 days ago, we received a letter from the director of U.S. Census saying that maybe in June, or maybe in June of 2024, or maybe in January 2025, we will know our number. So we're going to put up with this deteriorating sign until then, until we know our new number. So,
Bob, you analyzed this. We had assessing information, MMU information, and you figure the population's over 14,000.
well, it certainly is. We don't know if that's what they're going to. We have no idea what number they're going to give us, but I think we all know we wouldn't see the development that we have in Marshall if that was our population. So, and then the other thing that we refer to a lot is the old Shopko building. So, and there's been some speculation. Of course, Harbor Freight is there and doing well. The Big Lots was on the sign. They made a corporate decision nationwide that they're not investing in physical stores. But Marshall's has always been out there. In fact, it's on our location is on their website, and I believe today a demolition permit was approved. Demolition meaning they're starting to take down stuff inside the building, like ceiling tiles and stuff, in preparation for the renovation. So you never say for sure until it's for sure, but it certainly looks like it's for sure that Marshall's is coming.
We know we get a lot of questions about the sign, Lauren, more than anybody, of course, but it'll be a huge, huge win for Marshall. And as we always say, Marshall should have a Marshalls. There's no doubt about it, and it'll be great for us. Lauren, for your knowledge, this picture was edited.
I didn't do it.
Yeah, so anyway, you go out there, there's still Big Lots, but it's, as Bob explained, so.
Okay, so there's other things. We have a rental code that was approved by the city council. Basically, it's a registration. Co-chairs of our rental code committee that worked with landlords, worked with tenants, worked with our city staff, Mark Claith and John DeKramer, who are both in the room, did a great job. This started out as a kind of contentious, ended up being with, okay, this is something that makes sense. So what else is on that list? So.
24 elections, so we've got school district elections, we have county board elections, we have city council elections. So the city and the county cooperate on those. But if you want to make an announcement today about re-election, certainly say something. But it'll be a big year, of course, for us and the county in terms of elections and the local landscape. And yeah, it's a way to get involved and see what's happening at the local level.
So we have 2025 is going to be the big construction year for Highway 19, but pre-2025 is some projects that need to get done prior to that. One of those is Whitney Street that will be under construction. That intersects with College Drive, kind of across from Hoffman and Brobst, and the parking lot that is across from the movie theater behind Hunan Lion, that will be reconstructed. That's already under contract. That will be completed. Both of those are important projects to complete. Before that, we have the, you want to talk about Independence Park?
We got a grant from the Minnesota DNR to replace our Independence Park shelter. It'll also mean an upgrade to the bathrooms as well, which has been a priority for City Council for the last 5+ years, to make sure that we can improve our facilities. So we're hoping we can make that happen. Because it's a grant, there's some red tape we got to go through, but we hope to see that get off the ground this year as well.
We also received a grant through the Area Transportation Partnership of state and federal dollars to improve some of our safety of our bike trail crossings as well as pedestrian crossings. One of those is at A Street and East Main. That will be a rectangular.
It's a long engineering name.
It's an activated
So-
light, so
Yeah.
so it would be a flashing light. There also will be one of those that will be constructed at County Road 7 with the new alignment of the bike trail. Those of you that bike the Camden Regional Trail know that when you come out at the intersection at Westwood Drive, it's a little bit confusing. It kind of goes around Lanner's Construction, around their down yard. Then it, once it passes the construction site, then it goes up on top of the levee. That's going to get straightened out, so the bike trail will actually follow the levee all the way to County Road 7, and where it's straight across there, connecting with the bike trail that goes back towards the fairgrounds. And then there'll be a activated signal that will be there. In addition to that, the same grant will cover the extension of the bike trail south on Highway 59, basically past the Aldi store going to Windstar. That's the uncompleted section. Looking forward, the same type of funding in future years will fund the extension of the bike trail from A Street near the dog park down to Southview and make some connections over to Southside School. So that'll be a nice connection. We'll connect up with the bike trail that is currently constructed along the school property along Southview. And then a year or two after that, the reconstruction of the bike trail along Camden Drive, which is starting to deteriorate, as well as extension of the bike trail into Justice Park and replacement of the bridge. So lots of bike trail activity. Did I hit everything there, Jason? Okay, good. So those of you that like to bike, this is a good biking community.
Our trails are one of the most supported recreational facilities we have in the city, so good use of dollars by the city in these investments.
And again, as we've said before, there's other things we could talk about, but that's the list that we have in the time that is allotted. We're starting to run short of time, but one of the big deals that we have is implementation locally of the state cannabis law. So there's still some clarification that has to be done by the legislature, still some clarification needs to be done by the state cannabis board. They actually need to hire a director yet. But we have some local implications on that, like we are required to allow a minimum number. The county has a minimum number too, that they need to allow businesses. That will be by application to the state board, how that application process goes, the criteria, including the equity applicant requirement, and whether or not cities are allowed or should. So we're really, really studying that, and lots of discussion about that. We look at this as a public health issue. That would be the only reason that we would be involved, is for control from the public health aspect. We don't view this as a revenue source by any means.
Yeah, I think
ahead.
city staff will be looking at draft ordinances fairly soon. We have a THC interim ordinance right now that'll expire in July. Currently, it's very limited on who can sell that and what does that look like in the future. And then with the pot cannabis law, how do we want to treat placement of some of these businesses? Where do we want them located or not located in proximity to other institutions like our school districts is going to be really, really important. I can say that I feel and think strongly that city staff will be looking to control it as much as possible within the state regulations. It's mostly driven by the state, but we'll be responsible for public health and welfare of the community, but also public safety is going to be a big thing. And as I said, placement of these businesses and how we want to treat them from a planning and zoning perspective.
And as I've said, similar to in the 1940s when municipal liquor law was enacted, we're in a similar place now that we have one chance to do this right. So. And then finally, we're going to talk a little bit about ash borer management this past year. Emerald ash borer was identified in the community. That's alarming, and I'm actually going to refer to my notes for the first time here. We've been aggressive on trying to access some DNR funding to remove and replace ash trees, primarily in our parks, but also on our public right-of-ways. So currently, we have 354 ash trees out of 1,954 trees that are in our park system. So 17.6% of our tree population in our parks are ash. And of course, they either have to be treated or removed, otherwise they're going to die. And then in our public right-of-way, so this includes our boulevards and everything else, we have 7,354 trees on our public right-of-ways. 1,732 are ash trees, so that's 23.5%. So, long way of saying there's a lot of trees in the community, but there's a lot of ash trees. So decisions are going to need to be made about removal, replacement with appropriate trees, and then as homeowners, we all have decisions to make, like, do I treat that tree? And the treatment is effective, but there is a cost to that, and you need to stick with it forever, probably. Or do you take that tree out and replace it with something new? On our boulevards, what our policy has been is that the city's not going to treat the trees on the boulevard. We may treat some in some special locations. We may treat some with our own staff in some of our park systems. But if we're a homeowner and there's ash trees on the boulevard in front of your house, and if you choose to treat that, that's fine. In fact, we would encourage that because you do that because of your own enjoyment of your property. But know that if they're not treated, they're going to get eventually removed, whether that's before or after they die, but they will all die.
Yeah, the city last year did some work in this area with, again, another Minnesota DNR grant. Any city ash tree that was removed was replaced with 2 trees. That's why you saw quite a few tree plantings in our parks. So we have started some of the management of ash borer. And then also we got a grant that we're going to start implementing this year and the following year. It'll actually include some money for residents for tree purchase and tree removal. So we're really looking forward to that, and we'll try to get some education out. And then we really have a need, and I know that you've been approached quite a few times about identifying what tree is this. I think that's been a big question about not really knowing what tree you may have. And then from there, if it is an ash tree, is it infected or not? So we really want to see if we can get a core group of residents who will be able to identify disease by the ash borer and hopefully provide more education. So.
Yeah, and I should add, not to be overly dramatic about this, this will over time really change the tree canopy population within the city of Marshall, but it's not going to be immediate. We're talking maybe 5 to 7 to 10 years that this transition will happen. We need as a city to kind of think about, okay, how is this going to be managed? How are tree selection, replacement going to be made? And even things like, do we have capacity to take all the removed trees? We probably don't have. I question whether or not we have capacity at our current tree dump site or not, because there's going to be a big volume there. With that, We'd like to thank everybody for your patience, your cooperation, your, I told this story before, but we're using PowerPoint the very first time I used PowerPoint. I was pretty proud of it, and I was given this presentation, and the audience was township assessors, and my topic was the correlation between the crop equivalency rating and valuation, and I was right after lunch, just like we are today, and I was going around and kind of over on my left about where Kamara is sitting. I heard this commotion, and there was a fellow that was on the floor, and then people were like, call 911, and then all of a sudden the guy stood up. He just had fallen asleep and fell out of his chair. So thank you all for staying awake.
Okay, so we have time for a few questions for Mayor and Sharon. Any questions? Oh, very timely. Mr. Ashbor.
Well, my question's not about Ashbor, but Adam Riggy, Southwest Tree Treatment here. It's great to see all this economic development happening in the community, and I feel as though that's going to put a lot of stress on our current workforce. What is the city doing, or could the city be doing anything to welcome more daycare providers to the community?
You want to take this? You've been on this.
You know, it's always been a chicken and egg type discussion. You want more employees, but yet you have to have housing and daycare to support that. And what do you start with first? But we've know that daycare has been an issue for a long time. In middle of 2017, I know the chamber studied with the YMCA, and I think Schwann's was a big supporter of that study at that time about maybe having additional daycare. We recently were approached by a business individual in the city about really looking at this again. So again, pointing out Lauren Deitz and her work, she's contacted Southwest Initiative Foundation, and we're going to get a group of business people together to really look at this. We know that there's a need. It's not just in Marshall. I know that the county also has spent quite a bit of time looking at this, and there's been some improvement, but really not just Marshall, but countywide, and the region needs to look at this. So we want to be inclusive of the business community. We've got an early list started. We want to include the county as well, so you'll be seeing something about that fairly soon. But critical, we know that we can't get employees if they can't leave their families during the day to make the work happen. So yeah, need to put some more efforts towards it.
And Adam, thank you for the question. And when I was talking about Emerald Ashbor, I should have recognized it. No problem. You've done a lot of treatment, so that's great. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I had the same question.
Oh, okay. Wow, 2 questions on childcare. Anyone else? Okay. Well, thanks again, and please help me thank Mayor Burns and Sharon Hansen. Thanks to the chamber team, Mavi, for helping put this together, Bonnie and Shelby for all their work. Have a great rest of the day. Enjoy the beautiful weather.